Hi up troops, A Littleton here again with another video, and it's the start of year 10, so it's only right that we look at the top 5 defenders for year 10 season 1 and probably the majority of year 10 depending on who comes out for the rest of the year. What we're going to do, we're going to look at each operator, a site where they're really useful, and talk about the setup that we use and a few of the different tips that you can use on that operator. You can then take those and apply those to other sites. So one site setup for each of these operators. They're not in any particular order, but I definitely do have a favorite, and we'll save that till last, I think. But anyway, enough waffling. Let's get stuck into it. It wouldn't be a top 5 list without Azami. Now, I know Azami's been through some changes over the years that she's been out. Like year or two, year and a half, 2 years that she's been out. However, she's still incredibly strong. And this site here on Villa is something I see a lot of top players do this, but you don't really see this in the sort of like gold plat trenches. So you can hold this door onto study and also then place a keyboard on the back of the maps table here to then hold into zombie and over into statue and sort of trophy area as well. All you got to do is put your first keyboard right on the corner of this desk. That's going to block off the study door, but you're still going to be able to sort of come around and peek it if you want to, and you obviously can peek that side as well, and you can see top main from here. Don't shoot your own keyboard. The thing you got to worry about from here is if someone's outside on study bell, you might be holding a really tight angle onto the door, so just don't go too far out there. You can't see the door from there, so if we ping that there, you can see it, just see that side of the door. So if you stay somewhere between the line of there and the window, you know, you stay here. As soon as you stretch out to like there, though, you might get seen from the window. Obviously, you can see where that is there. But it's not very often people are going to be holding that from study window. More than likely, study window is going to be looking at main stairs. When you come inside, obviously, you can place another one if you want to on the bottom of the door, or you can even place one on the bottom of the door this side. Hello? Bottom of the door this side. Which then you can hide behind and peek onto main stairs if you want to as well. One of the key things about this setup, which is really useful, is the ability to put this on the maps table. So fire that on the top rung there, like this sort of, you can see there's like a rimmer on the top of the maps table. You want to fire that on there. Reason being is you can now vault on here and crouch behind it and treat it a bit like a deployable shield. But also when you're fighting on towards study, when you're fighting top main here, you're covered from the rear. I'm 36 and I found that quite funny. So yeah, just make sure you've got your arse covered behind you, but you can use this to peek to main, use this to study door, and bear in mind we'd have an extra keyboard in a pocket if this didn't happen, so we'd still have 2 keyboards left, and you can be dynamic with those keyboards. So as soon as there's like they destroy this keyboard, well, I just impacted it's quicker, you can just place another one straight away. As soon as that keyboard's gone, fire another up. Let them waste a bit more time, let them waste a little bit more ammo, a little bit more utility trying to destroy things. Don't forget you've got this angle as well, the other side of this reinforcement. Fire onto study balk if you want to. And again, yeah, just be a little bit more dynamic. If you know there's someone on study balk or top main and there's a free kill, you can block off the study window. If I had a spare keyboard, I could anyway. I haven't anymore. You can block off the keyboard and then push up and swing around there and then run back. All the time this window is going to be blocked. She's definitely easily top 5, probably top 3. A good player and who's able to be dynamic with his army is unreal. But this setup on Villa, ignoring this one, I imagine will break this one because they're attached. Oh, it doesn't. No way. I thought if you destroyed one keyboard that was attached to the other, it would break, but obviously not. But now, yeah, you can hide behind this, hide behind that, use that to peek off. Yeah, I just shot the wall again. Use that, vault up. Really solid setup. And the beauty of it is, you don't really need to move apart from there to there, which is like, what, 5 meters away? 8 meters. You've got an 8 meter lane to work with. There's bits of vert you can do on the floor below if you want to, like you've got piano and art door below. You can use that for a bit of vert to look at that door below, which is down there. You're probably not going to be doing that too much because you're going to be pretty occupied with both these directions. But yeah, solid setup, great operator, easily top 5. Next on the list, we've got a Lesion. I don't think anyone can argue with this one at the minute. The beauty of Lesion is he ticks almost every box. You can anchor with him in certain spots, like I'm going to show here. You can roam, you've got that pocket shotter, you've got a bulletproof cam. Where I think Lesion comes into his own is stairs. And you've got 2 sets of stairs here on Clubhouse in this area on blue. Obviously, you'd normally reinforce the hatch, but the beauty of Lesion is you can put goo mines as far back as you want to on stairs. They'll still pop. And as an attacker, you cannot see that. Again, we know it's there. This is the classic, I know it's there, so you can see it. When you look at the stairs here... Sorry, I've got to wait for that ping to go now. We can't see it, and we walk down. It's only when we get to there, but by this point, we're already ADS at the side of here. Definitely can't see it there. And again, it'll be the same over on the oil pit stairs. Make sure you don't leave it on the edge of the step. Put it right tucked in. When you drop oil and you start wanting to push down. I mean, even at this point, we can't see it, and we know it's there. It's only there we can see it. But obviously, by this point, you're ADSing down here. And the beauty of it is as well, drones don't pick them up very well either. Lesion on stairs is very good. Now, you'll probably also know you can put Lesion on doorways, which is a really solid... That's not very good at all, Andy. Put Lesion on doorways, which is a solid way of playing him because you can't be seen really from there. You're not going to spot that little leg that sticks out as you come around the door. But Lesion on stairs is next level. This site is excellent because you can now hold down this area by putting goo mines on the stairs. You can also put one on the next step up. So what will tend to happen here is the attacker will come down, they'll hit the first goo mine, they'll panic, and they won't hit the second, and they'll move back. It's even easier on the larger sets of stairs. If you were to put one at the bottom, one a bit further up. The higher up you put them, they are a bit easier to see, like they become a bit more apparent. But however, you're still not going to see that. So they hit that one, they go, oh, I've got to go back up. You come back down, and there's another one at the bottom of the stairs. And obviously, you keep a couple in the pocket to place like throughout the round as it goes. You know, you find you're getting a bit of pressure, you can bounce one off the wall, etc. This is a really solid place to play Lesion. A great BP camp spot, by the way, for this site is right here on this drawers. These drawers. You can be able to see almost every way into site from here. You can see dirt through this little gap here. You can see, if I move out of the way, sorry. You can see blue. You can see the kitchen hatch drop just about there. You can see bottom main. The only thing you can't see is the moto drop. You might notice I put the rotate in the middle of the wall here, which is not very common on this site. Most people put it here, but let me show you why we don't put it here. What we do, typically, if you play it, and this is mainly if you play in a mirror, you're going to reinforce this side of the wall. Reason being is that what will happen, or what you can do, and if you didn't know this, take this on board, as an attacker, if you shoot through this area of the wall here, just shoot this to make it easier, at the top of these stairs here, you can shoot through this. You can see where all those bullets are going. Let's go and have a look at where all those are. Most people, when they play a mirror down here, are going to reinforce this wall. They're going to place a mirror on this wall, and then they're going to make head holes along this wall here. Most of the time, anyway. They place the mirror here, and you use it to peek in onto main, and you use it to peek in into moto. Well, if you're attacking and there's a mirror there, it's no problem. You can get rid of that mirror from up here through that gap there. You can see that's where the head holes would be, so the mirror would be somewhere around that area there. So that's why we reinforce that side if you're playing a mirror. If you're not playing a mirror, you don't have to worry about it too much. But I am still sort of the impression now that this is a better way of... oh, didn't mean to... I've just pressed prone and gadget at the same time. In my opinion, having practiced this a little bit, this is a better way of moving around the side. Being able to just peek that side, dip back in through the middle, then have a look at moto. Really like it. Another thing, by the way, if you're playing that blue area, you've got to put something for the moto drop. Maybe even for the moto door as well. Just be careful that by the time someone gets to this door, they're going to be able to see into that area there. So you can't be getting pushed from blue, the blue stairs, the oil pit stairs, and the moto door at the same time. You're going to have to pick a fight with one of them. But Lesion in this area is so good. Obviously, you've got the pocket shotties to do the rest of the setup as well. Absolutely world class. Before we talk about Melusi, let's shoot the radio. Or hip fight it as well. Right, Melusi is great, in my opinion, on this side, Oregon top 4. And the reason I tell you that is there's 4 main places you need to worry about. The door from Trophy, attic, top white, oh, here, and big window. There's also the breach, but I'm going to assume we've got another operator, such as Bandit, Cade, Mute, or something that can maybe try and help out with the breach. If you want to include the breach, there's 5 areas you need to worry about, although in terms of putting a Banshee down, in my opinion, it's 4. Now, that ties in well, because we have exactly 4 Banshees, so you can place down 4 Banshees to cover doors. Now, when it comes to Melusi, what I think is a really useful thing to know is that when you're putting Banshees down, don't put it in front of doorways. I see people do this all the time. I don't know why people do it. So all attackers have to do is stand here. They don't have to expose themselves to the likely angle over there. They can stand here, wait for it open, and they shoot it from here, retake the position, and then push in from there. Don't do that. Ensure that the attacker has to walk through the door and then not put it in the most inconspicuous Banshee spot. But what you want to do is make them turn the crosshair away from the spot that they've got to fight, if that makes sense. So what we want to do is attackers come through this door, and we want to make them look over here to have to shoot this Banshee. All the while, this is the angle, or from the kid's door here is where you're going to peek them from. You don't want to be putting the Banshee in the same spot that they can look at. White stairs is probably the best example of this. Let me try and show you. So, another thing to note while I'm putting this on white stairs is look at the area that the Banshee's going to cover and make a mental note of where it is. So you can see it's right at the bottom of the steps, and that's what you need to remember. So, when it comes to white stairs, if you know as soon as this Banshee activates, the minute that activates, you know they're right on the bottom of the stairs, and you can pre-fire where they're going to be. If you put this Banshee up here, you've got to know that they're going to be halfway up the stairs, but whichever Banshee you're going to play, just make sure you're aware of where the first point they're going to activate it is, because as soon as you see this light up, you'll know exactly where they are. Why I was talking about white stairs, by the way, is because when it comes to it, putting Banshees down, you want to make sure attackers have to move the crosshair as far away from possible as to where you're going to peek from. So this is a good example. An attacker could be coming up from here. They've got to shoot the Banshee, which will open when they get to about here. And then they've only got to move the crosshair back to the door, which is where you're going to swing from. So there's not much of an adjustment from there to there, okay? If we put the Banshee on the other wall, notice where it is at the bottom of the stairs. The attacker needs to hold this angle. And as the Banshee activates, they've got to look over here. They're now nowhere near the angle that they need to hold by the time they've shot the Banshee. Move back to the door. It's a far bigger correction of like crosshair placement they've got to do than going from here to here, rather than going from here all the way back across. So always make sure you make it as difficult for attackers as possible in terms of where you place the Banshee. So that one goes there. We've then got big window. This one's dead easy. You can either place it under the window, directly here, or you can place it on the wall. The only thing with the wall is, I like it, he sort of contradicts what I've just said, because attackers will jump in, and the first place they'll usually go is over towards Hobo, so they're already facing this direction as such. So I prefer putting it on the floor. Makes it a little bit more difficult for them. You've got to look further away. The only thing to bear in mind here is, depending on the angle you put the Banshee at, if an attacker was to rappel upside down, if you were to put the Banshee here, if they were to rappel upside down, the Banshee could activate if they have line of sight on the attacker. Therefore, just put it slightly offset on the window. So if they're rappelling upside down, it's not going to activate. We've then got one more for attic, and we follow the same principle that we did before. We want to make sure we make it as difficult as possible in terms of changing the attacker's crosshair. If I can actually jump up here, it'd help. I like putting it on the back of this. The reason being is, actually, I prefer that further down because I feel like you can see that over the top. Can I get that further down? Yeah, I can. Yeah, where I just placed it, then I feel like you could see the Banshee, just the tip of it over the top. The reason we put it here is, one, the attackers might not see it as they push down, but two, if they do see it, again, they're going to have to turn the crosshair to here, and then they've got to move all the way back. If you just stick it on the wall here, they can walk in, shoot the Banshee from this angle, and they've only got to move the crosshair to there, which, you know, is still a decent correction to have to do, but it's not as much as having to turn around and shoot this here. Plus, you can also then start making a mental note of where that Banshee is. You know that as soon as they cross this sort of blue box or whatever that is, it's going to activate. So as soon as they cross, that's when you can pre-fire. Or you've sort of got to have a bit of a guess whether they're going to be there or there. Obviously, they could be across all this space, but you know where they're going to be in terms of how far away. You could do the sort of pie the room strat where you sort of like, you look that way and then just don't peek that whole angle immediately, because they could be anywhere between there and there. Just peek like there to begin with, and then if they're not there, then there, and then sort of work your way around, if you know what I mean. Don't expose yourself to the whole angle to begin with. Plus, not only have we got 4 Banshees, we've got a shotgun to use, so we can do the sight setup. One more. Lovely. We've also got a bulletproof camera as well, which you can place in a couple of different places. Here's a low-key, I've just said, I'm 36 years old, I've just said low-key. Here's a low-key great spot for a bulletproof camera, because you're probably going to have a rotate to white here as well, or at least head holes, so you can see big window from here. And you can see anyone coming up white. If I move out the way, you can then also see anyone from trophy, anyone from attic, and should anyone come through the breach, you're also going to see him come through there as well. Don't worry, it's not as easy as it looks to shoot this from big window. No one's even going to know it's there. Like, he's not going to spot it, and if they do, you can't get the angle. Oh, you can get the angle to destroy it. Okay, well, we just made a mind up. What we're going to do instead is we're going to place the bulletproof cam here. On this, okay, I didn't think you could get the angle on that then. I've tried that before and never got it before. I just learned something making this video. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to put the bulletproof cam here. Oh no, because then we can't see attic door. Okay, we put the bulletproof cam. Maybe crouch. Okay, I shouldn't be doing this whilst I'm recording, but we're trying to move on the fly. We're being dynamic. I reckon you move it further to this direction and put it directly next to the window, and then hopefully the angle's not as great. Or you could put it somewhere safer and decide that you're not going to watch a certain angle. You could put it here, or even top white here, and then you'd still be able to see the trophy door, the breach, big window, and top white. But you just wouldn't be able to see attic door. So you just make if you've got a Valk on the team, maybe you could put a Valk cam on this back of this barrel, which is a great Valk cam spot here, or even further back on the planks. Just make sure it's got the back to the attackers as they walk down attic. That's another video though for Valk. And then maybe put the bulletproof cam here, and then we don't see attic door. But I mean, we've shot that because we know it's there. As an attacker, are you going to shoot that? Are you going to know it's there? I don't know. You'd have to make that decision yourself and see what you think. Let me know how you get on. But anyway, I'm rambling about bulletproof cams. Melusi, absolutely world class, especially on this site. She's excellent on sites where there are multiple ways you've got to... I mean, most sites have got multiple ways, but, you know, on Oregon, it could be literally any one of those ways into site. A lot of other sites are generally the same sort of 1 or 2 directions into site, whereas Oregon, there's so many different ways to watch, especially on the top floor. Without doubt, the #1 defender for me is Mute. I just think he's so good. He counters everything. He counters the most important intel you've got in the game, which is a drone, as an attacker. In terms of this setup on Consulate, we're going to put a mute jammer there, which will extend to about here, so they can get just around the outside if they're aware of it. And then the next one here, that pretty much locks down intel for yellow stairs. Now, as Mute, you can play in box here. Don't open... If you're Mute, don't open the hatch straight away. What happens, or what has happened to me in the past, is I'm tending to like, hold yellow stairs here, like fighting onto yellow stairs, and then I get shot from underneath the hatch, like through the hatch with my back to it. Yes, we know we want the hatch open if they're going to the CEO plant here, but if you're playing Mute, I would imagine 99 times out of 10, way up, you're going to have a shotgun, so you can always just drop the hatch late on the round if you need to, drop and then C4. I personally don't like leaving that open at the start of the round, especially when you've got a shotgun or impacts in your pocket, if you had impacts, obviously. If you haven't got that, then I would play with the hatch open, because you definitely need a way out of here to try and stop the plant the other side of this wall. A little hole above this here would be nice, so you could C4 over the top there onto the window. Anyway, this sort of locks down the yellow area, the yellow stairs area. Like I say, just have a look at where this jammer goes here, by the way. You can see what the sort of range you'll get from the edges. Goes out to just off the edge there. So if you do find yourself with a mute jammer here, just remember you can come all the way around the outside. The thing is, this mute jammer extends out to about here, so you can't really get past. You could get your drone down to about here, but that's about it. Then we go over to the other side of the map. If you haven't got wall denial, I would recommend putting a mute jammer on the wall as well. I know a mute jammer can be countered quite easily by a thermite. Ace can even open the top of the wall, but it gives the attackers something else to worry about. If you have got a bandit or a Cade with you on the team, which I do recommend for this site, because bandit tricking this wall is really, really helpful. As soon as this wall gets open, you're sort of treading on eggshells around meeting. The next 2 jammers are dead simple. One goes here, and one goes on the next door down. Now, this doesn't seem like much here. However, stopping an attacker droning out of this room is huge, because there's a drone hole here they have to go through to break, but you can play here. Destroy the drones that come through. Play a little bit aggressive here. Be careful of the window here. I got really confused then. I turned around and expected the window to be here, and I couldn't see it. It's right there. So just be careful of this window when you're playing here, and then slowly drop back. As you get kill a drone, kill a second drone, drop back. Watch the stairs as you drop back. Make sure no one swings out a break room over there as you drop back, and then you can drop back to here, and you can play a little bit closer here. If no one pushes you, don't just give the space up for nothing. If no one pushes you, you can stay a bit more aggressive. Don't give your life up, though. If you're confident you're going to get a push from the stairs and from break at some point as well, just fall back to here. Couple of quick pieces of note. Quick pieces of note? What? Couple of points of note, or pieces of information. I can't have it both ways. 2 vert angles that I think's worth knowing. First one here, next to the bin. Dead easy to remember. This looks down into the main lobby door. Can I see it from the camera in lounge? Yeah, see, you can't see it. The front door's just to the right there, but you can see where that ping is. So that's the front door there. Worth holding this at the start of a round, because people come through the front door thinking they're going to be fine, especially on a top floor defense. The next one is a similar sort of thing, but you're a little bit more inconspicuous. You open this angle here, this you will be able to see from the... can I show you above where I am, where I'm looking? That's this door here anyway, that's what I'm trying to show you. I don't know why you can't see the vert that I've made. Like, I'm stood on the vert. You just can't see it, and yeah, maybe you can just about see it on the camera. Anyway, not important, but yeah, that's this door in lounge. So front desk through into lounge, and this is a really free kill. This one's a bit more of a tough angle, because like you're looking down on the door from above and to the side a little bit. You know, it's not an easy angle. Whereas this one is you're looking directly at the door. You know, as they come through the head, and even with a shotgun, it's so easy to hit there. But that's just one example of a side setup with Mute. There are many more. I've done 2 or 3 videos in the past about Mute. I'm probably going to make another one pretty soon, because we've got a few new map iterations. Could use a few more sites. There's no site where Mute's a bad choice. He counters almost everything. Unbelievable weapons with the shotgun and the SMG-11 combo, and he's just a nice lad. And he's named Mark in real life, which I think makes me laugh, because it's just such a normal name. You know what I mean? You have some crazy names in Rainbow, then you just get Mark. the English mute jamming specialist. But yeah, mute up there, number 1 for me, and I don't even have to think twice about it. Last, but by no means least, is Valkyrie. Valkyrie's insane in a stack, but even if you're just solo queuing, it's incredibly useful to be able to check the cams yourself and get a free C4 kill from below. First cam, the setup here in Chalet works every time. It's free cheese. First cam goes here, behind this rafter, behind this beam. You'll be putting that slightly higher up, so as you're coming up the stairs, it's really hard to see. You're never going to see that on the way up the stairs, and that's going to give you a view of all the solarium. You'll hear if anyone rappels in. Obviously, you're going to see if anyone pushes towards master or bathroom. That's just to hold this area when this cam inevitably gets destroyed. You've then got 2 more. One over by the piano double door. This one here, and this is again going behind a rafter. It's just going to go behind this one here. This is going to see the piano double door. You're also going to, typically on most side setups, you have head holes on this side or this side, depending on how you do it. Most people do this side. And that means that when the breach is open from this camera, you're going to be able to see the piano double door, but you're also going to be able to see anyone that crosses and tries to plant on the half wall, which is the usual default plant spot here, which you're going to be able to see from there. Then we've got one over in the lobby. Now, first thing to do is look if there's any drones watching you from here. Watch for the drone that normally sits on here. Any drones on these sort of windowsills that used to be windows but aren't anymore, RIP old Chalet. And have a look for a drone sitting on this ivy down. Just have a look all over the place for drones. You've got to make sure you don't get seen as you throw this cam. If he doesn't get seen, that just tucks up there in the corner. Oh, that isn't where I wanted to throw that. That should go in the left, but I started moving. Doesn't really make a great deal of difference, to be honest. Either way, you get a great view of the mez jumping. You can see if anyone was to cross top blue there, and you can also see a bit of mez from library. This is a great angle here for C4 kills, because you get a lot of people droning here when they think it's free. And you can get a C4 kill from underneath. One thing I want to stress and bear in mind is everybody thinks that the default plant spot is in kitchen. So everyone thinks that the default plant spot is here. It's not. It's outside kitchen. So using this as a guide, this is the mez balcony. This is the breach that most people go through. This is the wall that looks down towards top blue. So if I jump on the top blue cam here, I can't lift the camera any further up, but you can see the ping there. That's there. This is the wall. This is the corner. So this is like and half wall would be here, right in line with this wall, which means that the default plan spot is around here. Now what you can do, and this is what you tend to see in pro play, is people will shoot out this, then throw the C4 there, rather than running all the way around and trying to throw the C4 here, because by the time you get to here, anyone that's holding the flank from fireplace or from blue is going to absolutely tear you a new one. So it's a lot easier sometimes just to fire out a bit of that wall and then deny the default plan from here, and I'll go and show you where that lands. If we run up blue stairs, shoot the jukebox. That is one of the better jukeboxes, in fairness. There's some good tunes on there. And then this should blow up right where the default plan spot is. Gosh, right there. So you can see that this line and this box here, this right angle, falls right in line with what you can see underneath. Again here. A lot of the maps are symmetrical, like in terms of like giving you an idea of where things are above and below, and you can see that's the half wall. But yeah, anyway, the 3 Valk cams work super well. We've got the one for Solarium, the one for Piano Double and the Breach Walking, and then you've got the one for Mez and Fireplace. Absolutely world-class cams, and there's no doubt that Valkyrie is a top 5 operator. Granted, she works a lot better in a stack because you can rely on people to watch cams. You can't always rely on people doing that in solo queue, but absolutely top class. So there we have it. Absolutely no doubt in my mind that they are the top 5 attackers. I think, sorry, top 5 attackers. Absolute clown. Top 5 defenders. I feel there is some leeway to talk about maybe squeezing Sentinel in there to be able to have impact, C4 and a shield maybe, but I still don't think he creeps into the top 5. And I think there's also an argument to say Fenrir could be in there instead of Melusi as well, but I like Melusi at the moment, man. I don't know what it is, I just like it. The only thing with Melusi is Brava has seen a bit more playtime with Maestro seems to be making a slight resurgence. More people are playing Brava, and then more people are hacking Banshees, which is a problem for Melusi. But I still think Melusi just pips it. I think the top 3 you have to... I don't want to like rate them all in order at the end of the video, but I definitely think Mute, Azami, and Lesion have to be the top 3, in my opinion. And I could see an argument. If someone said, actually, I prefer this instead of Melusi, I prefer that instead of Valk. Valk, again, like I said in the video, is a little bit sort of if you're solo queuing... Maybe there's better options because you've got to rely on other people watching your cams. But anyway, don't want to just repeat myself. Thank you as always for getting involved with the channel. There's other links below if you want to support a bit further. There's the Patreon, which I don't really do anything with. I really should put more effort into that, but I don't, unfortunately. That's a good way of selling it, isn't it? patrons there, there's a PayPal link below if you want to just lose your mind and help me pay for a new back door, sorry. And there's also a second YouTube channel that I've started doing, which is all about outdoor stuff and going camping and just going outdoors and spending time out. I'm even going to put a video on there soon about me. I went for a pub call around Shrewsbury. I'm going to put that on there as well. I'm just editing that at the moment. Well, not at the moment. I'm recording this at the moment, but over the next few days. But as always, appreciate you getting involved with the channel. Like, comment, subscribe, and all the other good stuff that really helps me out. And I'll see you on the next one. We'll probably do the attackers next. Cheers.